Okay, 5 minutes. So, recently at night, I've been watching Seinfeld, from the 90's. I actually remember watching Seinfeld when it was on TV. I think I would watch it after school. I think it was on once a week. Anyways, a lot of the seasons are on Netflix now, and I've really been enjoying watching the show because to me it's funny, but more importantly than that, I think that I really miss the 90's. I, you know, I couldn't quite remember if a lot of the things portrayed in Seinfeld really happened that way, in relationships and with friends. For example, nobody's ever, on on their phone. Nobody's ever, on the computer. They're they show up at each other's houses just like impromptu, like just randomly, like show up at their friend's house to say hi, to hang out. There's a lot of hanging out, like in the restaurant, and they talk. Everybody's just talking. There isn't Nobody has a device to distract themselves. And I'm watching this show thinking like, was it obviously it's a TV show. So was it really like this in the 90's, or not? Or is this just the TV show? And I suppose that some of it is just the TV show, but the truth is, I actually remember the 90's, and a lot of it was that way. I mean, I do have memories of just going over to a friend's house to see if they're home, or, hanging out at a friend's house to watch a TV show together because, you know, I don't know, you just did that, or calling people, talking on the phone a lot more, having conversations. Um, Everything didn't need to be so pre-planned. Everything didn't need to be so pre-discussed, um, which is, I think, what is very different about the world that we live in now. When I try to observe, what are the big differences between, like now, the way things are now, and the way things were, let's say, in the 90's. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are different. Uh, you know, Smartphones is the obvious one, but, you know, I think something I noticed that is really different, that is probably because of smartphones, but I'm not sure, maybe not. Um, is this the way everything has to be kind of pre planned more and discussed more? Um, there are like, everything's kind of like a group decision. There's a lot of waiting time in between things. People feel like they have a lot of time to decide on things, like if you're, you know, thinking about going to, somewhere on the weekend and you want to invite friends. It feels like things are a lot more, uh, what's the word? I want to say challenging, but I don't think challenging is the word. It's just a lot more meticulous, maybe, or people put a lot more thought into things, um, that I don't think existed in the 90's. And maybe it's because one reason is because there's so much less there was so much less information readily available for you to think about, for you to, um, what's the word? For you to contemplate, to that would influence your decision. It was, okay, I'll go check out this place. I don't know, for example, if a friend asked me, like, hey, do you want to go check out Mount Shushu? And he'd be like, yeah, sure, okay, I've never been to Mount Shushu. Let's go. You know, I, I wouldn't have looked it up on the internet. I wouldn't have you know, messaged somebody else and, asked about it, you would just go and you'd find out. And, yeah, okay, sometimes you'd find out that it sucked, but that's my 5 minutes. Anyways, I feel like, yeah, I'm definitely missing the 90s and at least some aspects of the 90s that I'm now feeling nostalgic about. And most of those things are connected to um, not a lack of internet, because in the 90s there was internet. I mean, I got my first email address in the 90s that I still have, that I still use for junk. Hotmail. I have a Hotmail email. It was the very first email that I signed up for. And I still have it, and it is still sent buttloads of junk mail every single day. And I haven't figured out a way to completely delete it. I guess I won't. It'll just be there forever. Happy Wednesday.